From one neighbor to another, WCTE PBS is here for you. Coming up next is Live at 5 on WCTE PBS and its streaming platforms to provide updates on communities throughout Central Tennessee.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Craig LeFevre. I'm the new station manager at WCTE. We're glad that you could join us today for Live at 5. I've got a couple real interesting guests coming up today. First, we're going to start out with Steve Owens of the Tennessee Bass Nation Kayak Anglers Series. We'll talk to him a little bit. And then we're going to talk to Dean Selby, who is the manager at the Upper Cumberland Regional Airport. He'll be in the second half of our show, but we're going to start out with Steve. Steve, are you there?
I am. Good evening.
There he is. All right. Good to have you with us, Steve. Thank you for joining us. And we have you have an event coming up with the Tennessee Bass Nation Kayak Anglers Series. You got an event coming up on Center Hill Lake. Tell us a little bit about the history of the series, and maybe get into a little bit about the event coming up this week.
Yeah, well, I'll go ahead and give you, like you said, the historical overview. We're in our second full season of existence. The goal for every angler in this series is to qualify for our state championship. And then from there, the top 10% of the field make it to the Bass Nation Bassmaster Kayak Championship, which was just held on Lake Hartwell. Every year that's held in conjunction with the Bassmaster Classic. So we fish on a separate lake than the big boats. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, and then on Friday, we get up on the Bassmaster Classic stage, which is a lot of people's dreams. And as a matter of fact, 3 of the top 10 that got to get on stage and be broadcast actually were first, second, and third in our past Tennessee State Championship. So if it weren't for that series going down, those guys wouldn't have made it. But our series this year, we've already started. We had our first event. First of 5, which is what our season consists of. It was on Del Hollow. We had 97 anglers in it. Tom Kazmierski won it. And for first place, he took on, $2,512. And then again, as you mentioned, Center Hill is our next one. It's March the 19th. And we'll be operating out of Edgar Evans State Park up there. So we do a lake-wide launch. We're not confined to one boat ramp because we don't have, super fast motors. From there, April 9th, we go to Kentucky Lake. And then May 21st, we go to Gunnersville. And then June 18th, we close out on Douglas. And then from each event we have, the top 15 make it to the state championship. And that state championship will be August the 27th and 28th on Lake Chickamauga. We had 80 in our state championship last year on Lake Chickamauga. And this year, looks like around 115 should be qualified. So it'll be a pretty big event, a really big payout. We were 100% payback. We're sponsored by Ag Pro John Deere, Dugout Bait and Tackle, and Carl Black Chevrolet out of Nashville and Kennesaw. And due to what they give us, we're able to cover our management fees and everything and give 100% of the entry fee paid back to everyone.
Well, that's terrific. So 100% payback on your national championship. Then, it's a pretty big event. Obviously, it's pretty prestigious. If you've got 115 anglers from all these other events that have, they've had to win in order to get to the championship. What kind of payout are we talking for the big tournaments like the national or the state tournament and the national tournament?
The state championship, if we had 115 anglers, that entry fee is just a little bit more. First place would be, excuse me, hold on, I'm getting to it. First place would be around $57 for first. We pay out 10%, so we would pay out 12 anglers in that. So the national champion or the Bassmaster Kayak Championship that I mentioned on Hartwell recently was, or it was Lake Richard Russell in South Carolina. Was $20,000 for first place.
Wow, that's those are pretty significant prizes for something that, compared to what we think about with the big bass boats and the big shotgun starts and everything. We're talking about fairly low barrier to entry here, so that you could feasibly, if you're a great fisherman, you could go get you a kayak and you could end up in a championship. Is that about right?
Yeah, pretty easily. I mean, we have anglers that make a living doing this. There's a few Russ Snyder's, Cody Milton, Christine Fisher, Eric Siddiqui that just won the championship. Each of those people can, a few of them, without giving too much detail, they've made, around 60, 80, $100,000 a year in entry winnings alone, not to mention sponsor dollars. That's starting to creep into our sport where companies are giving anglers anywhere from, $5,000 to $8,000, $9,000 a year to cover expenses. So it's definitely growing. Working the Bassmaster Classic, I work remotely for Dugout Bait and Tackle in Marietta, Georgia. We're a large Hobie dealer, and so we get to work in a lot of the booths at the Bassmaster Classic. And off of the COVID-ness of it all, where we all are itching to get outside more, we're not traveling as much, kayaking has exploded. I thought it had leveled off about 2 years ago, and then all of the unfortunate events that have happened seem to have drawn people more into just slowing down and getting out. And, we're starting a college series. April the 9th, our first college event for the Hobie Bass Open Series will be on Watts Bar. So we're going to be looking to grow that next year. The college series are really successful, and something a lot of people really enjoy because we all have a standard measuring board that we use. You take a picture of your fish on the phone with certain criteria met. The fish has to be positioned in a certain way. And then you upload that to the Tourney X management system is what we use. And an offsite judge verifies your fish, adds your inches up. And like Tom Kazmierski, I mentioned winning the Del Hollow event, he had 93 3/4 inches, which is about 18.8 pounds. And to put that in perspective, the bass boat tournament, there was a big, I don't think it was an MLF tournament, but there was some sort of Phoenix kind of tournament up there that same weekend. And I think 19 pounds won it. So Tom would have been right there on his own, in that. So, a lot of people enjoy that. We get to be easy on the fish. Not that boaters aren't, but, you're still hauling a fish around in a box all day. And especially summertime, summertime can be really, really hard on a fish. And we leave very little footprint where we can. And it's just, I liken it to hunting. If anyone's a hunter, you can go out and hunt, but then when you go out and bow hunt, there's just some primal about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of that way in kayak fishing. Once you get engaged in it and you hit that learning curve and you figure out how to do what you want to do and be successful, it's hard to go back. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that. So if somebody wanted to get into these type of tournaments, how much experience would you say they need? Is it something that anybody who has a kayak can just jump into and try to do well?
Oh, absolutely. All you have to have is a kayak, a life jacket, a cell phone to take your pictures, and a measuring board, and you're pretty much, that's it.
Oh, that's great.
We have people of all experiences. Myself, I grew up pan fishing my whole life and on Nickajack, and I moved to Lake Chickamauga here and was just fishing from the bank, having a good time. And my good friend Ryan Lambert emailed me and texted me these kayaks. So each of us went and bought one, and I piddled around for about a year on Chickamauga, and I really enjoyed getting away from the bank. I grew up fishing, the river. And then we got into the tournament bug, and we've not looked back. And now, I helped build the Bassmaster Bass Nation series and ran it its first year. And they just back-to-back years handed somebody $20,000 on stage, which is pretty awesome. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. So we got a couple minutes left here. How's fishing been? Have you been out? It got pretty warm here a couple weeks ago. Did you get out any?
Well, I'm actually a tournament director, so that means I hardly ever get to fish now. So everybody I talked to as I got into this sport was like, the more you get involved, the less you'll get to fish. So I did get to fish. We had our Georgia Bass Nation event on Lake Eufaula 2 weeks ago. I got to fish in it, got to get out. I caught 3, I think, but I went inside unseen, and I was just trying to find an alligator because I'd never seen one that close and personally. And because I'd fished Lake Seminole before, and I actually got to see my first alligator. He was about 25, 30 feet from me, and it's a pretty decent sized one, so I was excited about that. But The cottonmouths were already out. We had anglers taking pictures of cottonmouths like 2-3 foot from them in branches. But the fishing went really good. The guy who won down there, to put it in perspective, the BFL tournament fish the weekend before was like 13, 14 pounds, and he had like 16 pounds of fish. And where I live here on Lake Chickamauga, the big ones are starting to heat up. There's been, I think, 2 double digits caught the last several days. And up your guys' way, the smallmouth are starting to bite. I've heard on Center Hill up against the bluff walls and stuff. So we're looking forward to everyone getting up there. We want to thank, Cookeville for reaching out to us and being very open and helpful with everything that we need. So we're looking to grow the future and get back up there next year, hopefully as well.
Well, that's great. All right. Well, we're looking forward to having y'all. I'm sure it'll be a great time, be a great experience for everybody who's getting out. We thank you for joining us, Steve, and we're going to take a little break here in just a second. And after we get through wrapping that up, we'll be back with Dean Selby, airport manager at Upper Cumberland Regional Airport.
WCTE's Great TV Auction is May 31st through June 12th. All of the behind-the-scenes action is underway, and we need your help. Join in on all the fun by becoming a donation solicitor. For more information, please contact Miranda Maynard via email or call 931-528-2222.
On the next episode of It's Your Business, we learn how small business can impact communities and individuals alike as we talk to Asa Reese, owner of the Grinder House in Crossville, Jessica Upchurch, owner of Happy Trails Brewery in Sparta, and Shella Rooney, owner of GoNee. Join us right here for another incredible episode of It's Your Business.
My name is Donna Matson, Director of Human Resources and Business Operations with WCTE PBS. Did you know the broadcasting industry in Tennessee is thriving and offers exciting career opportunities? WCTE has immediate openings for your consideration. Benefits include health, dental, vision, life, retirement, sickness, and AFLAC. Visit WCTE.org. Come join our team.
Online is Ancestry.com. MyHeritage is another one. There's a whole lot of information on the internet that you start digging for and you'll find it. And a lot of resources at your state libraries and at your local libraries. The resources that I started using was before the internet, and that was the library. The library was the most important resource. A lot of people forget about it nowadays and just do the internet searches, but there's so much more information at the library that's undiscovered. It'd be well worth your time if you're interested in doing genealogy to go to the libraries, local libraries and the state libraries, especially state libraries.
Welcome back to WCTE's Live at 5. Glad to have you here for the second half of our show. We are going to welcome Dean Selby, who's the airport manager at Upper Cumberland Regional Airport, to the show now. And he's going to tell us a little bit about the possibility of getting some passenger service in at the airport. Are you there, Dean?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. All right. So how's everything going down there at the airport? I know that you all are interested in maybe helping us out with some passenger service that might bring us some economic growth. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, a lot of people don't realize the impact of the airport that we have here now and what we're currently doing even before we roll into the possibility of commercial service. And so to take you back just a little bit, over in 2019, the TDOT did a study of all the airports and their local economic impacts. Mm-hmm. And this airport, according to TDOT and all of their studies, put $19.7 million directly into the local economies. Mm-hmm. And that's $19.7 million that might keep in here if we didn't have an airport. So as we've grown through the last few years, the airport's getting bigger and busier, and we're looking at the possibility of opening up some commercial flights, some feeder flights, if you will, to a couple of destinations that give access to some people that perhaps have not had access to commercial service before. And I think the possibilities are very interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I was just looking at the map that you supplied, the Upper Cumberland Regional Airport route map, and it really does look like you could serve a whole lot of the central part of the United States and even down into Florida and the eastern seaboard. Um, how much, if I know when we think about commercial passenger service, we're thinking about Delta and Spirit and Southwest and all that. The kind of flying. What would this be like? Would we be seeing big jets? Would we be seeing Lear jets? What kind of planes are we?
Well, currently we already service aircraft out of here the size of, larger than Learjets up to MD-80, DC-9s in and out of here for freight and that kind of thing. So the aircraft we're talking about be in that category more than likely. We've hired an actual consultant who does this to help us do this the right way so that we don't make mistakes and we don't do something incorrectly. We're not going to need to expand. There's a lot of misinformation going out there about going on that they think we're going to have to expand runways or whatever. We already have the longest and heaviest runway that's not one of the controlled fields in Tennessee. This is the 8th largest and heaviest runway in the state of Tennessee, or airport with the 8th largest and heaviest runway already. We're approved all the way up through C-17, KC-135 operations, which if you know anything about military aircraft too, that's a huge airplane. So we're not going to really have to expand any to do this. This is just adding another level of service that we hope we can provide to the people of this area that you would have to go to Nashville to get. I don't know if it'll be a destination flight or if it'll be a feeder flight to somewhere like Atlanta. That's, like we said, that's what we're looking at with a consultant to try to find the best way to do this to where it's sustainable and we can continue it, and we're going to interrupt the least number of people's livelihoods.
Mm-hmm. So there's a number of course, indirect economic impacts. What about direct impacts, like the number of employees at the airport, the number of jobs that might be created? Do you have any information about that?
Well, initially, I think we could do it with local ones. Obviously, we would have to add several people, but as we go forward, this could be a huge boon for the area and baggage handling and ticket agents, that kind of stuff. I don't want to get the cart before the horse, though, because we're a ways from that. And even right now, even if we're doing 1 to 3 flights a week, it'll be just 1 to 3 flights, simple flights. There won't be a lot of infrastructure to do it. TSA is already we're talking about doing, and they're happy with it and seem to be on board, and we're excited about it. I think it'll be a neat option for people, but long term, I think it could definitely be a huge benefit to the area.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be a wonderful thing. I've been through a lot of small regional airports, and I know in the communities that they serve, they become very integral to the community itself. Is that what you foresee happening with the regional airport here in Cookeville and Pike County?
Yes, I think it could. A lot of people, this airport too is not just Sparta's airport. That's one thing. This is the Upper Cumberland Regional Airport because we are owned by the city of Cookeville, the city of Sparta, Putnam County, and White County. So we service the entire region, not just one area. And that has allowed us to grow and do things that we couldn't have done if we were just owned just by the city of Cookeville or just by the city of Sparta. And by doing this, we're looking at what can we offer, not just to these 2 counties, but the surrounding counties and this entire region. As you know, through the businesses of this area, we've kind of the whole area has started taking on a regional look at how we can compete regionally, not individually. And I think this is one thing that could add to the entire communities of this whole region. Some of the freight we fly may not even be for the immediate counties, it's for the surrounding counties. And I think that's important to keep in mind, that this is not just a local thing. It helps everyone around here.
Yeah, that's great. What are fuel prices doing to you right now?
No, we don't. Let's try not to get too deep into that. That's a crazy one there. I can't predict them from one day to the other. They have obviously gone up just like prices at the pump have for everybody who's driving out there, and it's crazy. So far, we've not seen a huge impact from that. Our fuel cells are still about where they are, but as far as gallons wise, but I can see it if it keeps going. How are people going to be able to? Flying, how are they going to be able to drive to work? That concerns us all.
It's a big concern. Anytime that we talk about any kind of economic impact, whether it's local or statewide or national, we always have to, include the cost, which obviously, particularly in your business, fuel is a huge one. What are some of the other maybe you could address? I know you've mentioned a couple of objections that you've heard from people. Is there anything really any other myths that you would like to dispel about what could happen here in the future?
Well, some of the concerns have been about a noise, and the aircraft that we fly in here now are of the same category and class as what we are probably talking about with a commercial service. So some of the general aviation aircraft, especially the turboprops and that type of aircraft, that category of aircraft, are louder than a lot of the commercial service aircraft. So I don't think we're going to see a huge change in our noise contours and noise maps. That's something we will have to look at, and some people have been concerned about that. And I appreciate the fact that we need to talk about all of this stuff. It needs to be out in the open. I can appreciate the fact that people want to know what's going on, and come see me. I'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is there they can obviously contact you. They can find your contact information through the airport website, I would assume, and get in touch with you that way.
Yes, they can. And I take every now and then I will take people on tours who call and say, I just want to know what's going on out there. Now we'll set up a time. I'll take them out and I'll show them around and show them what we're doing and what's going on and what the future holds as far as for what we see right now. That may change, but I can at least show you what we got going on. And another way that we're trying to spend more time with the community is, last year we had the airfare here, the Upper Cumberland first annual Upper Cumberland Airfare, and I think we're doing that again. We're planning on it right now as long as everything continues to work. So we're going to have it on 16th. So we're going to do the same thing, and we learned from the last one of some things that people want to see, and we're looking forward to making that an annual event.
Yeah, that's a great thing. That's one of the things I always enjoyed about the airport. I shouldn't say always, but the times that we had the old air shows, we used to go and see the planes and just sort of experience what it's like to be around the airport there. When I was a kid, I lived next to Detroit Metro, so we used to go out there and watch the planes all the time. And I'm still fascinated by planes. I imagine the same with you.
Yeah, and when we have several families that come out on a regular basis and come sit and just watch the airplanes take off or whatever, and hey, we welcome them. We love that. People that are interested, we love to have you come out and hang out with us. I can't ever predict whether we're going to be busy or not busy. We're in that transitional stage where there's one day we're not doing a whole lot, the next day we can't keep up. So you never know how it's going to be till you get here.
Yeah, I understand. Well, what you could. Somebody in helping out somehow to make sure that this passenger service can come to pass if the feasibility study and everything comes back and the consultants find out that this is something we can do. What can people look for? What can they do to help? Is there anything that the public can help with?
Well, right now we've got a survey open. It's at uctelairport.com. It's an air service survey to see where people think that what they would like to see, what kind of flight they would like to see, where they would like to go, how they travel, what are your travel habits, and that kind of thing. And that is actually going a long way toward deciding how we're going to move forward with this, or if we're going to move forward with this. I mean, obviously, a whole lot comes from what they refer to as an ARC study, which is the airlines ticketing studies, mm-hmm. and some none of the data is back yet, but some of the preliminary data I've seen surprised me at how many people really do fly from the Cookeville area and Sparta and even the surrounding counties around that. It really kind of shocked me at the total number of ticket sales.
All right. Well, I think that that's about going to wrap us up on time there. So I appreciate you joining us today. It's a lot of information. Glad that you could disseminate some of that, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again here in a few months and make some announcements.
No, well, it may be a few months because it takes some time to put this together. So
yeah, I understand. I understand.
think it'll be 3 years from doing it. It would be my guess, but even if everything looks good, but I appreciate you having me on, and thank you, and look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Right. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
Sunday on PBS, starting with Around the World in 80 Days.
Whoa. We've been in situations more hopeless than this.
Then, All Creatures Great and Small.
Have you seen much of Helen? Didn't have the guts to tell him.
Followed by Vienna Blood.
I didn't kill him. He was preaching hatred.
It's a night of drama you won't want to miss.
I think I got interested mainly for my grandmother's side. She was a Huddleston that married a Bullock, and we used to visit her church growing up. And I've actually got her family Bible, which dates from the very first Huddleston that came here in 1811, Huddleston brothers, and I come through David. I think it's important for you to know kind of where you belong and who you come from. And I keep learning, just through the years, you keep learning family history that it's interesting.
Welcome to your March PBS Passport Update. I'm Josh Deepin with WCTE PBS. This month we have a slew of premieres coming your way, so stick around to hear more about what's streaming. To kick off Women's History Month, WCTE PBS wanted to acknowledge remarkable women in male-dominated fields. The series Kitchen Queens of New Orleans is available for streaming only on Passport. It features female chefs of New Orleans and their culinary mastery. You can also stream the 3-part documentary, Greta Thunberg, A Year to Change the World, as she explores the science of climate change and witnesses the consequences firsthand. General streaming for Around the World in 80 Days expired in February. If you missed the show, just log on to Passport and you'll be able to watch it anytime, anywhere. In the land of premieres, Call the Midwife Season 11 rolls out on March 20th. You can watch the following episode a week before broadcast on Passport only. This is an in-demand show, so fans are certainly welcome to take advantage of this Passport membership benefit. And lastly, spring is right around the corner. Warm up outside and in front of the TV by streaming shows like Nature, where you go beyond the beach to learn about tropical wildlife and exotic ecosystems. If you miss it on broadcast, stream over 10 seasons on Passport. If you are interested in becoming a member of WCTE PBS to access the added benefit of Passport, it's never been easier. Simply type in the URL below, wcte.org/passport, or just scan the QR code using your smartphone's camera. If you are already a member, simply sign in using your credential to access PBS Passport up for the month of March. I'm Josh Deepin. As always, happy streaming, and I'll see you next time.
Welcome back. And I wanted to thank you again for joining us on Live at 5. We do this every Thursday, and it repeats on Sunday. So be sure to join us again next week for more great guests and local information. Remember to go to wherever you get your apps and download our app. Remember to like us on Facebook. Go to WCTE.org for information about programming and station events, such as the Indy Lens screening that we have coming up next week, as well as the annual dinner. You can get more information on our website about those. While you're there, go ahead and become a member and support WCTE and sign up for Passport. You can get lots of good local shows, as well as all great PBS content that you can watch anytime and anywhere. So thank you. My name is Craig LeFevre. Glad to have you on Live at 5. I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you.
From one neighbor to another, WCTE PBS is here for you. Join us back for the encore on Sunday at noon. A brand new show of Live at 5 will return at 5 p.m. next Thursday. Thank you for watching.